Today is November 21, 2023. Our reflection is entitled A Transformative Encounter, From Riches to Redemption. First reading according to the second book of Maccabees chapter 6, verses 18 to 31. Eleazar, one of the foremost scribes, a man of advanced age and noble appearance, was being forced to open his mouth to eat pork. But preferring a glorious death to a life of defilement, he spat out the meat, and went forward of his own accord to the instrument of torture. As men ought to do who have the courage to reject the food which it is unlawful to taste even for love of life. Those in charge of that unlawful ritual meal took the man aside privately, because of their long acquaintance with him, and urged him to bring meat of his own providing, such as he could legitimately eat, and to pretend to be eating some of the meat of the sacrifice prescribed by the king. In this way he would escape the death penalty, and be treated kindly because of their old friendship with him. But he made up his mind in a noble manner, worthy of his years, the dignity of his advanced age, the merited distinction of his gray hair, and of the admirable life he had lived from childhood, and so he declared that above all he would be loyal to the holy laws given by God. He told them to send him at once to the abode of the dead, explaining, "At our age it would be unbecoming to make such a pretense. Many young men would think the 90-year-old Eleazar had gone over to an alien religion. Should I thus dissimulate for the sake of a brief moment of life, they would be led astray by me, while I would bring shame and dishonor on my old age. Even if, for the time being, I avoid the punishment of men, I shall never, whether alive or dead, escape the hands of the Almighty. Therefore, by manfully giving up my life now, I will prove myself worthy of my old age, and I will leave to the young a noble example of how to die willingly and generously for the revered and holy laws." He spoke thus, and went immediately to the instrument of torture. Those who shortly before had been kindly disposed, now became hostile toward him because what he had said seemed to them utter madness. When he was about to die under the blows, he groaned and said, "The Lord in his holy knowledge knows full well that, although I could have escaped death, I am not only enduring terrible pain in my body from this scourging, but also suffering it with joy in my soul because of my devotion to him." This is how he died, leaving in his death a model of courage and an unforgettable example of virtue not only for the young but for the whole nation. Holy Gospel of Jesus Christ according to St. Luke chapter 19, verses 1 to 10. At that time, Jesus came to Jericho and intended to pass through the town. Now a man there named Zacchaeus, who was a chief tax collector and also a wealthy man, was seeking to see who Jesus was, but he could not see him because of the crowd, for he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree in order to see Jesus, who was about to pass that way. When he reached the place, Jesus looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down quickly, for today I must stay at your house." And he came down quickly and received him with joy. When they all saw this, they began to grumble, saying, "He has gone to stay at the house of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, "Behold, half of my possessions, Lord, I shall give to the poor, and if I have extorted anything from anyone I shall repay it 4 times over." And Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house because this man too is a descendant of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what was lost." In today's readings, we are presented with narratives that emphasize the transformative impact of encountering Christ. The passage from Maccabees recounts the story of Eleazar, a righteous elderly man who chooses martyrdom over compromising his faith. His unwavering commitment to God's commandments, even in the face of persecution, highlights the transformative power of faith that extends beyond earthly concerns. The Gospel of Luke introduces us to Zacchaeus, a wealthy tax collector who, out of curiosity, climbs a tree to catch a glimpse of Jesus passing by. To everyone's surprise, Jesus not only notices Zacchaeus but also chooses to dine with him. This encounter leads to a radical transformation in Zacchaeus' heart, prompting him to repay those he had wronged and share his wealth with the poor. Jesus acknowledges this change, stating, "Today's salvation has come to this house." As we reflect on these stories, we are invited to consider the transformative encounters we have had with Christ in our lives. How has our faith and commitment to God's commandments shaped our choices? Are we open to the transformative power of encountering Christ in unexpected moments? Let us reflect on our own encounters with Christ and pray for the grace to be transformed in His love. Today, I will intentionally seek opportunities for transformative encounters with Christ in my daily life. Whether through prayer, scripture, or acts of kindness, I will open my heart to the transformative power of Christ's presence, allowing His love to shape my attitudes and actions. If you found this video meaningful, I invite you to show your support by hitting the like, subscribe and share button, as this will help us reach more people with these reflections. Together, we can create a community that seeks wisdom and spiritual growth.